Hi, this is Gingersnap, episode 70, and I am here with Penny Lane, and we're here at Green Lion Studios Green Lion Gallery.
Yeah, Green Lion Gallery.
Yeah, in the half
and studio. We're actually also
That's
working
right.
studio. It's
See, that's why I said that.
We're known more as a gallery.
Mm-hmm. And I'm Lisa Redfern, and welcome to Gingersnap. And so we're going to talk to Penny about the gallery and an upcoming show that's happening. When did you open the gallery?
So the gallery opened initially on Center Street in, a year and a half ago. And then I jumped on board. That was the winter. I jumped on board in the summer. It was started by David Morgan. He's a printmaker, and he had an upstairs studio and kind of turned it into a slight gallery space. And I met him and said, oh no, this can be so much better.
Oh no.
Let's do this up. So we moved over here to Front Street 1 year ago in October.
Yay!
Yeah.
So if you're in Bath or Brunswick, or if you're in the area or you're coming through Bath, like going north or going south, please stop in. I was over at the bank across the street, Bath Savings, and my eyes were drawn to the window and some of the work in the window, and I came in and looked around and got all excited and talked to David and Penny, and I'm really glad I did, and I think you should too. And what else? Oh, I need just to make sure that was important. Sorry.
Uh-oh.
It's up. We're good. So when did you become passionate about art and about supporting other people's art?
I was a teenager when I became passionate about art. It was my outlet. I had an high school art teacher, Thomas Block. Actually, he just passed away a month or two ago. He just was so inspiring, and he saw something in me, even just sort of my personality or something. It probably wasn't my art at 16, but he just saw something in and supported me, and I needed that support. And over the years, it's just become more and more important to me as an artist to support other artists, because there are parts of the business they just don't know how to do.
Well, that is so true. I have so many friends who are painters or sculptors or printmakers and also in my area, a lot of us who are musicians are really bad at self-promotion and management and all that good stuff. Yeah. Yes, it's really hard. You really need to separate those two pieces of yourself.
Yeah.
And so what medium did you work in?
I started with clay, sculpture, pottery. I did a residency at Haystack, which was wonderful. That was in my junior year of high school. And then I moved on to watercolors. I learned watercolor technique from Ted Keller, who was a pretty popular professor through University of Maine, and I studied under him for 3 years. He was super influential, and I did watercolor for about 20 years only, and about 3 months ago I did my first oil, and I'm pretty happy. Oh, wow. I mean, it was interesting that I had been so intimidated by that medium for so long. I really thought I was so versed in the watercolor that the idea of even switching to oil was intimidating, but it was a lot easier. It's the same sort of technique, just a different feel. So it's good. I'm enjoying it. I'm really liking it. Yeah. Thanks.
I'd love to. Can I see that one? Where is it?
Yeah, it's my Facebook profile photo.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it is. The details.
All right. So when did you come to Maine?
Oh, I was born in Cambridge, but I grew up in Maine. So I don't know, 6, I think.
Why do you stay? Why do you think you stay in Maine? Like what anchors you here?
Well, you know, it's something that a friend of mine said many years ago when I was on the verge of moving to California. She had lived in California herself, and she said, I'm going to sum it up for you like this. She said, California people are dolphins, and they're very up and very happy, and Mainers are whales, and we have barnacles, and we're a little, slower. And that was it.
That's great.
And for me, I need that depth, and my family's from Maine sort of generationally, and I needed that kind of generational root because I'm kind of a flighty person. So it helps me to be in a place where people move slower and the energy is more whales with barnacles than dolphins.
I really like that.
Yeah, I did too.
Well, having lived out in the Bay Area for 14 years, and now I'm thinking about that image. Did I feel like, I felt like it was a new beginning. It was, the kind of archetypal sort of fresh start kind of thing for me in my life.
Things don't grow deep there. You know what I mean? Like the roots, I noticed when I was walking around, I often would notice I was trying to walk very lightly. So the ground couldn't hold me, the earthquakes or something, I don't know. But and then I researched it and things, the roots don't really grow very deep out there for whatever reason. Not like they do here, apparently. Well, except for the redwoods up north, but anyway. Talking about LA areas.
Okay, Penny, do you know your first word? Or if you don't, what do you think it might have been?
Probably no. I do not like being told what to do, ever. Interestingly enough, I never take no for an answer. So
that's good.
There's that too, yeah.
Okay, my first word was cookies, so that's why we're having cookies. These are the oatmeal raisin cookies from, I like to sort of show, from the Veggie Corner in Harpswell. These were made by Theresa. Thank you.
Really good.
We're going to have a bite.
That's yummy.
Well, all right, we're going to...
Should I admit that this is already my second cookie today?
It's my second cookie, too. I wasn't going to say that, but I got another one when I was at the Veggie Corner. I was driving here, and I thought, I could just have one now. Did you have a car, either when you were a kid or when you were an adolescent, that was really cool that if you'd get back, you would?
I do, although I don't think anyone else would think it was very cool.
Doesn't matter.
But my grandfather had one of those huge old Ford Econoline vans with the bench seats in the back, you know. And in the way back, he built a custom dog dish that held a water bowl and an ice cream bowl. And every Sunday, we would go for drives in the country, in Maine, Newport, Farmington, you know, just out. And the dog would be in the back, and we'd always find an ice cream shop, and we'd get the ice cream, and my grandfather would whistle, and just the smell of that, and the feel of the wind, you know, the windows down. Just great childhood memory. Really special.
That is lovely.
Thanks.
I like that.
I would not want to own one of those, though.
That's a lot on gas, Cozily.
No,
I was just telling someone the other day, we were talking about all, you know, just how things were in terms of safety. I was telling my stepsons the other day, I said, you know, my sister, who they know, used to, when she was like 2 years old, my dad basically built like the equivalent of a playpen in the way back of an international travel all. And when we'd come to a stop, she'd just go boing and kind of sit up and go, no. You know, we didn't really think anything of it.
No, it's the same thing. We totally moved around freely in that van. I was more often in the back with the dog than I was actually in the middle on the bench seat. Yeah.
Great. Okay, I'm going to turn this more toward you. Or you can come closer. Okay. All right. Are you a big? Do you love books? Or are you?
Oh God, I love books.
Yay!
I just don't read as much as I wish I did. But I do have a favorite I read in the last year.
That's perfect.
If that was your next question.
That was my next question.
Still there, I'm sorry. Yeah, The Night Circus. Do you know that?
I don't know that.
Oh my gosh. Now I should remember the author, but I don't think I'm going to pull it out. The Night Circus.
The Night Circus. Okay. Well, I'll find it and I'll add it to my...
It's one of those books that I recommend to people, and they're like, yeah, I'll add it to my list. And then when they read it, they always call me and say thank you.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Okay, do you have, is there an album or a song that's been like a touchstone for you? Or a couple? You don't have to narrow it down.
Just a group?
Sure.
The Violent Femmes. Without
the Violent Femmes.
Oh my gosh. I saw them for the first time when I was 40 because I thought they stopped touring. And I have listened to them so religiously in the same way that some people listen to the Dead or Fish that I wept when they started playing. I mean, I had a religious... I mean,
where
it's kind
did
of
you see
embarrassing. On the pier in Portland. They played last, 2 years ago?
Outside?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was phenomenal. And then I was a total groupie, stood in line, got the bag and the autograph and picture and, you know. Oh my gosh, I love that band.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, Penny Lane. I can't believe your name's Penny Lane. I just want to say this is so freaking cool. Oops, that is very slightly close to a swear word.
You can slide on that one.
If a movie was made about your life, what genre would it be, and who would star as you, or who would you like to have star as you?
Who would I like? Well, I certainly have a favorite actress that I would be so honored if she were to ever portray me. The genre I would have to start with, sort of one of those very complicated art films with lots of twists and tragedy and high successes and low lows, for sure. And gosh, if Juliette Binoche could play me,
that'd be nice.
I would love that. But I think probably be more along Sherilyn Fenn.
Okay. That's a good, I like the
contrast.
Also, if you had I think if you took Juliette Binoche, Sherilyn Fenn, and I'm going to throw in Sarah Silverman, because I like her, and
she's pretty hot.
Yeah. So, that's a good
Yes, that would be a great combo. My God. Yes.
Okay.
I might paint that. I might think about that and see what comes in it. Because I do a lot of self-portraits.
You do? You could do a triple self-portrait.
Yeah, like the triple mother, whatever it's called, the triple goddess. Yeah. No, I think when I teach art, I always start with self-portraits because and I end with self-portraits because I think that an artist needs that tool to draw. They say, write or draw what you know, and you should really know yourself. I think so. To paint that, to put that on canvas is good practice.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think that's true about prose and songwriting and art too. Yeah, paint what you know.
Yeah,
sing what you know.
Yeah.
So when I was in here, when I met you guys and came in the studio, it makes me think of when I was telling you that everyone else in my family are visual artists except for my father when he was alive and myself, who were musicians. But I was telling you that I took this art class and I was so scared because I didn't see myself as an artist because I saw everyone else in my family as an artist. Even though when I was a little kid I used to sketch a lot. And so, but I did, you're going to know the name of this, where you don't take your hand off. It's called continuous
line, continuous movement.
Yeah, continuous line. And I think I was a freshman in college. And it was a self-portrait that you couldn't take your, and for some reason, because you couldn't, not being able to stop meant that you couldn't over-edit, meant that you couldn't over-analyze.
That's right.
And I remember it was a very emotional experience because I thought, I need to stop looking at this as, looking at the results of it and judging it, and instead of just, how did it feel to do it? How did it feel to just be in the process of creating something, even if you didn't think of yourself as, I am an artist or I am not an artist? That's really freeing.
That's it. That's the magic spot that every artist tries to get to, where you literally forget who's in the studio with you. Who are those people in your head? Who are those old voices, those old recordings, whatever? And you're just in the creative process. That's it.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is.
Tell these guys about your show coming up.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Leonard Meiselman. He is an incredible artist, and I'm so fortunate that we have his work here. And you can see some of it behind me.
We're sitting.
It's called Self-Portrait in Maine.
Speaking of self-portrait.
This show is entitled A Portrait of Trees, and Leonard grew up in New York, and he was a teenager when he first came to Maine and saw trees, and he was so struck by their beauty. And he later came back and lived on Vinyl Haven, I think it was, or North Haven, one of them, and the trees were dying, and it's kind of a big thing, actually. And so he started sketching and painting the trees and became sort of a protest artist and a voice for the trees, and has really rallied for them. And this is a culmination of his work. We have paper studies, ink, pastel, charcoal, pencil, and then we have very large paintings. Largest paintings we've ever hung.
They look amazing in here.
Oh, I was worried they would overpower the space, but I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
I'm happy with it. Yeah.
It's beautiful. So how long will that show be up?
Let's see, we open Friday, September 15th from 4 to 7 as part of the last Bath Art Walk. Last one of the season. And then it'll be up through October 20th, 21st, something like that. Somewhat loose takedown date.
Yep.
We'll see what kind of response we get.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, I'm thinking about all my Bath and Brunswick and Wiscasset area friends. Do come over and say hi to Penny or David. Is he also here most of the time, or is he sort of in and out?
So typically we sort of, we're here equal, but he's on artist retreat right now.
Lucky. And David, I'm going to interview you too. So
yeah, that would be good.
All right, you've been Gingersnapped. How do you feel?
I love it.
Yay! All right, so this has been Gingersnap 70. I'll be back in a couple of weeks with another creative Mainer. This is a conversation and a cookie with a creative Mainer. And if you want to know more about me or my music, you can go to lisaredfern.com.
I recommend you do.
Thank you so much. All right, got to get this right. And go to Veggie Corner and visit. Yep. Oh. It's I made it this way, and then I realized, it's going to be backwards. Okay.
Such a prettier slide.
Isn't that funny? I know. This has been Gingersnap.